Did you see what just happened? Key inflation gauge remains elevated during Iran conflict and ongoing U.S. trade fights. An inflation measure closely watched by the Federal Reserve was unchanged last month in the latest sign that many Americans are still struggling with higher costs. Here's everything we know so far. Experts and analysts are closely monitoring this developing story for any new updates. Stay with us for the full story and more breaking news throughout the day. This story was reported by AP News. Stay informed. Subscribe to Global News Digest for daily updates.
Here is what Wall Street does not want you to know. Anthropic agrees $45 billion AI data center deal with UK startup Nscale Cloud Maker is rushing to secure computing capacity to run and train its latest models. Let's break this down quickly. This story is moving markets and has significant implications for the US economy and consumer spending. We will continue to monitor this story and bring you updates as they become available. This story was reported by Financial Times. Stay on top of your money. Follow Global News Digest for daily finance updates.
This is why your grocery bill is about to change. Okta pops 20% after topping estimates as AI threat spikes demand for identity security. New products accounted for 30% of total bookings, and Okta said it closed dozens of AI deals during the period. Here are the key details. Investors and traders on Wall Street are reacting quickly as this situation continues to unfold. This is one of the top stories we are watching closely today across the United States. This story was reported by CNBC Top News. Don't miss tomorrow's financial headlines. Subscribe now.
Every American with a bank account needs to hear this. China needs US dollars but is building a hedge against Washington's sanctions. The US can pressure Chinese banks over Iran through access to its financial system, while Beijing is building alternatives such as CIPS. This is why it matters. Financial analysts are closely watching how this develops and what it means for markets and everyday investors. Our team is tracking every development as this story continues to unfold in real time. This story was reported by CNBC Economy. For daily market and financial news, subscribe to Global News Digest.
The DC story that is dominating every American newsroom today. Judge clears the way for Postal Service work on Trump's mail-in voting order. For now, a federal judge in Boston canceled a nationwide ruling that blocked U.S. Postal Service work on President Trump's order to limit mail-in voting for the midterm election. But a new block may come soon. Here's what's actually happening. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are responding as the situation continues to develop in Washington. Follow along as we cover the key details, the background, and what happens next. This story was reported by NPR Politics. Stay informed on what Washington is doing. Follow us for updates.
Is your data safe after this? Viral AI startup Instinct has raised $350 million at a $2.5 billion valuation. The startup is only a year old, but it has already generated a massive amount of hype and money, while also spurring privacy concerns. The key facts you need to know. Users and developers worldwide are already reacting to what this means for the future of technology. This is a developing story, and we expect more information to emerge in the coming hours. This story was reported by TechCrunch. More technology headlines every day. Subscribe so you don't miss them.
Did Washington just make the right call for America? News Wrap: States sue USPS, challenging Trump's order on mail-in voting. In our News Wrap Wednesday, Democratic-controlled states filed a new lawsuit against the U.S. Postal Service, challenging President Trump's executive order on mail-in voting. Iran says it would bar all military vessels from passing through the Strait of Hormuz as part of a potential agreement with Oman to reopen the waterway, and the FDA approved. Here's everything we know so far. Political analysts say this development could have major consequences heading into the next election cycle. Stay with us for the full story and more breaking news throughout the day. This story was reported by PBS NewsHour. For daily U.S. political news, subscribe to Global News Digest.
Here's the news story everyone is searching for right now. July PCE, Fed's favored inflation gauge remained elevated. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge remained elevated in July as the Commerce Department released the latest reading of the Personal Consumption Expenditures (PCE) index. Let's break this down quickly. This story is generating significant attention and reaction from people across the country. We will continue to monitor this story and bring you updates as they become available. This story was reported by Fox Business. Don't miss the next story. Subscribe to Global News Digest.
Congress just passed something, and most Americans do not know yet. The impact of the trade war between the U.S. and Canada. NPR's Steve Inskeep speaks with Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan about the trade war between the U.S. and Canada. Here are the key details. This story is dominating political discussions across the country and drawing reactions from leaders in both parties. This is one of the top stories we are watching closely today across the United States. This story was reported by NPR Politics. More breaking political news every day. Subscribe now.
Did the NFL make the right call here? NFL introduces new suspension rule for 2026. 3 violations of these 5 penalties will result in ban. The league is putting greater emphasis on 5 penalties as part of its continued effort to improve player safety. This is why it matters. Football fans across America are reacting strongly, and sports commentators are calling this one of the biggest stories of the season. Our team is tracking every development as this story continues to unfold in real time. This story was reported by CBS Sports NFL. For daily NFL news and updates, subscribe to Global News Digest.